Welcome back to our podcast, Let's Talk About Labor. This podcast aims to help farmers and ag businesses connect with other ag businesses, specifically to hear and learn about their experiences and challenges related to labor and the strategies they have used to overcome these challenges. We talk about various topics such as U.S. temporary foreign visa programs, mechanization and automation, and worker recruitment and retention strategies, among other topics. Different agencies and organizations have partnered with us to make this podcast possible, including the Southern Risk Management Education Center, Gap Connections, the U.S. Department of Agriculture SCRI program, and the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development. This podcast will not be possible without the participation of farmers and ag businesses. My name is Margarita Velandia, and I'm a professor in the Department of Agricultural and Resource Economics at the University of Tennessee. Annette?
And my name is Annette Wazlacki, and I'm a professor in the Department of Plant Sciences and the Commercial Vegetable Extension Specialist at the University of Tennessee.
We'd like to introduce our guest for today's episode, Julie Vaughn, owner of Rocky Glade Farm in Eagleville, Tennessee. She will discuss with us the marketing strategies she has used to overcome labor challenges, specifically those that have helped her optimize labor use. Welcome, Julie, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
Happy to be here.
All right, Julie, I'm going to jump right in and ask you to tell us a little bit about your farm operation. So the number of years you've been in business and the size and the crops that you grow and the market outlets that you use or have used to sell your products and the number of employees you have had or have. And I think that'll do it.
Okay. All right. Well, my husband and I got married in 1998, and we started Rocky Glade Farm later that fall. But we now farm about a total of 70 acres with 10 or so in vegetable production. And for us, that looks like a mix of high intensity production with covered structures. We have 3 35 by 144 4-season hoop houses that are passive solar heated only. We also have 8 caterpillar tunnels, the 20 by 100s. And in addition to the covered growing, we use single row planting and cultivation for field crops like broccoli and sweet potatoes and winter squash. And then we have another section of the farm that's set up for raised beds or carrots, storage radishes, and storage turnips. That kind of anything that we think we can carry through the winter in a cooler type situation. We also grow summer crops. But most of our summer growing is used for fall, winter, and spring sales, like crops that we can sell during the fall, winter, and spring. We do grow tomatoes and peppers, and we use that pretty much as our cash crop to fund growing in the summer so that we're harvesting or so that we can grow those things that we're going to sell for fall, winter, and spring. When we first started, farmers markets was our main marketing area, but now we are 75% direct to restaurants and 25% on farm sales. When we did attend the farmers markets, we had a summer CSA, and we had to have some extra labor to provide a wide variety of crops for that CSA and to draw in customers at the farmers market. So Middle Tennessee State University is located in Murfreesboro, which is not far from us. And we used to have a really good relationship with several of the professors there who would suggest 3 or 4 students to contact that wanted farm experience, specifically with vegetable production. So they would be full-time during the summer, and then there would usually be 1 to 2 of them that were really interested in making farming a career, and they would stay with us during the winter to see the whole season in production. Currently, so for about the past 10 years, we have no extra labor beyond our family. We might have occasionally one other person during the summer, or my our son's friends might come and help, but right now it's just family labor. We have four boys, and the oldest one has already moved out and he's on his own. Our second oldest, he's 18 and will be attending college in the fall. And then we have two 13-year-olds. And so for the first time in a really long time, we're about to find ourselves without another person in the family with a driver's license except my husband and I. So we have a lot of changes coming our way. And really, the reason that we have chosen just family labor is just because it's easier to manage with some of the other things going on in our life. We homeschool our kids, and so that takes a set of time during the day. And then also, Jim's parents live up the road, so we help take care of his mom now. And then also just kids' schedules with their activities. It's just easier for us to be flexible without somebody that we need to be with during the regular 8-hour workday.
Thank you, Julie, for that extensive explanation of not only what your farm is, but kind of like the labor access that you have, specifically family labor, and even though you have used other sources of labor in the past. So now let's talk about the marketing strategies you have used or strategies you have changed, including market outlets you use to sell your products that you have changed or have used in order to optimize the use of labor. So let's talk about maybe those top 2 or 3 marketing strategies that have made a difference on your farm in terms of how to optimize that labor use.
Okay. So I think, first of all, our strategy there, especially when we are thinking about just having family labor, is just how to market one crop in multiple ways. We grow a wide variety of peppers with different maturity dates through the season. So on our farm, we will have peppers from the end of June all the way until November. So for us, it's being able to market over that really long season a very wide variety of peppers. We grow them all under cover just so that they have the best growing conditions that they can have. We can't really afford to lose a crop of peppers. They're such a high value crop. So some of the ways that we market them differently, even though it is peppers and it's one crop, is that we will mix up different varieties and put them together for our CSA week to week to keep it fresh. Like it might be a sweet pepper mix or a hot pepper mix, or we may make it a salsa mix or something like that. So it's the same peppers that we grow, doing nothing different. We're just marketing them or grouping them different, and it looks different to our customers. Another thing that we do is we offer custom blends for our restaurants. They usually will send us like a ratio of sweet to hot that they want, and we sort of match that up. Then during the whole entire pepper season, we don't have to tell them, well, we're out of this. We just substitute in another hot pepper in place of one that has maybe quit producing. So that allows us to have one menu item that we can sell over a very long period of time. So we don't have to tell restaurants that we don't have that. We can just keep plugging things in. The other thing that we do is we also dry our peppers. Anything that is not sold, if it isn't sold within a week, we have some dehydrators here on the farm, and we will dry those peppers down, and then we will bag them up and label them, and we sell them to the restaurants during the winter and spring when there's not anything fresh. And usually they'll take those and they'll make pepper flakes, or they'll make their own powder and spice mixes, things like that. So we are using that, all of those pepper crops to their maximum potential. I think also one thing that has been good for us is to use the whole plant along the whole growing season. My example is broccoli. We, I think sometimes we look at crops and we just think about the main crop. We think about a head of broccoli. And so kind of out of desperation, this came about, trying to fill up CSA boxes. But I think if you can look at the whole plant as available for your CSA, that helps. And so one way that we do that is that, as the broccoli plant is growing, you can market the leaves as broccoli greens. And our CSA customers actually really like broccoli greens. It rivals kale as far as like what they will choose to put in their box. I think they use them in smoothies. I think they use them in soups. Also, you have the actual head of broccoli. You might choose a variety that produces side shoots once you've harvested the main shoot. And then, like for me, a final thing that I would put in a CSA box would be whatever the last little side shoots. Then I would also harvest some leaves, bundle that together. And that is also, a different item. To people, it's so at that point, you had used broccoli 4 different ways. Same crop, same labor, same everything, but it has become 4 different things that you can sell. And also for us, we let restaurants establish what they want to use heavy, so we'll service the restaurants first, and then anything that is not moving, say that they don't want to put that on their menu, then we will market that creatively to our CSA, maybe as an option in the box. If we don't think that they know what to do with it, then we'll add a recipe or add it to a mix. I say creatively on that because we don't give our CSA members junk, but you do sometimes have to help them know what to do with a crop that maybe you were growing for a restaurant or a food hub. And then we also have Nashville Grown, which is a food hub in Nashville, and we offer them what we call dibbles and dabbles. So anything that's not moving to restaurants and we can't use it in the CSA, then we can put 5 or 10 pounds of something on Nashville Grown to sell to other restaurants and caterers. So that's been a really good flow for us, is to service the restaurants first, think about the CSA, and then whatever's left, move it on Nashville Grown.
Those are some great strategies you've used to really maximize your sales of individual crops and kind of branch out from there as well. Can we delve into a little more, since marketing is such a popular topic among small scale growers, especially those that are selling direct to consumer? Can you give us a few tips about best practices to market your products that generate the highest sales with the least amount of labor?
Sure. Well, for us, we consider that most of the labor is in the planting and the harvesting. So we don't want to throw anything away. And obviously, it's going to be different for each crop. But our goals are to grow good stuff. We want to grow quality. We don't want crops to fail. Now, obviously, crops do fail here at Rocky Glade Farm, but we don't want them to. So how we do that is we study what the customers want. That could be just even going a trip to the grocery store, seeing what's new, what are they doing, how are they putting things together. We also ask chefs, what varieties do you want to see? Like, is there a pepper or a tomato that you really want to use or you would use a lot that we're not growing for you? And then also, I think you have to think about weight, like how something weighs out if you're going to sell it by the pound versus the ease of harvest. Like for us, it's easier to harvest the larger Marconi peppers than it is jalapenos. So we need to price that accordingly. Anything that is labor intensive, smaller, and doesn't weigh out as much is going to have a really, really high price compared to something that's easier for us to harvest and carries a good weight, because that's how we price our for that example with the peppers, it's all priced by the pound. And then I think just getting creative, thinking about ways to keep the same product in front of your customer for the longest time period, just so that you don't have to have so many different crops. Just think about a way to put it in front of them that looks fresh to them. My example is that we sell an heirloom tomato mix. And I don't name the varieties in that. I don't really tell them what's in it if they ask. I will tell them, but as the varieties come and go with different, tomato maturity dates, then that heirloom mix is it's gonna change the way that it looks throughout the season. But I keep it at the same price so that everyone knows what to expect. It takes the pressure off me as a producer, and it allows restaurants or our CSA customers or on-farm customers more stability in their menu. They always know that there's going to be some type of heirloom tomato mix. They just don't know exactly what it's going to look like. So that kind of takes the pressure off of me and offers stability to our customers.
Julie, these have been wonderful strategies and very on point strategies so that I bet a lot of our audience are going to benefit from. I want to thank you again for taking the time to talk with us. And I guess I'll see you all in the next episode. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Julie.
Thanks.